Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a new HBO Max release, Let Them All Talk. Before we begin, let me know in the comments if you are looking forward to this or what your thoughts are if you've seen it already. And make sure to give this a thumbs up if you like these reviews. It helps me out immensely if you do that. Also, if you're new here and you like movies, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases and some classics. But now, let's jump right into it. This stars Meryl Streep as Alice, a famous author who's been asked to go to England to accept an award. Unable to fly, she travels by ship with her nephew Tyler, played by Lucas Hedges, along with her two friends Roberta and Susan, played by Candice, Bergen, and Dianne Wiest, respectively, neither of whom she's seen in years. And on the way over, as the three of them catch up, she has to confront her troubled past. This just dropped on HBO Max yesterday and is directed by Steven Soderbergh. I haven't talked about Soderbergh yet on my channel, but he's quite an interesting director. I definitely want to do a series on his films at some point. He's someone who's been prolific in both mainstream and experimental filmmaking, which has resulted in an extremely eclectic filmography. For every Ocean's 11 or Erin Brockovich, you also have movies like Unsane, shot entirely on an iPhone, or Bubble, which contain mostly improvised dialogue, which is something he implements once again here. This is technically written by short story writer Deborah Eisenberg, but what Soderbergh did was only follow her story outline, making sure to hit the dramatic beats, and instead allowed all the actors to improvise the majority of their dialogue. And that definitely gives the film a sense of authenticity, especially when you have such a fantastic cast at the helm, all of whom are very talented. Meryl Streep is incredible as always, and she has some excellent chemistry with both Candice Bergen and Dianne Wiest. We get a sense that Streep and Bergen's relationship isn't so great, we're not sure why, and Wiest, who's very sweet here, tries to play the peacemaker between the two and keep things light and cheery. And they all play really well off each other. The film though straddles the line between Soderbergh's mainstream and experimental films. He has a number of divisive movies in his catalog, and this is another one to add to that list. I think it's much more accessible than, say, something like Bubble, but it doesn't reach those same heights that the Ocean's movies or Contagion would reach that would allow most mainstream audiences to enjoy this. Mainly because the film really lives up to its title. This is an extremely dialogue-heavy film, and it's not full of witty, snappy lines that you'll find yourself quoting when the movie's over. It's a 2-hour movie and one that takes its time. I can definitely see a lot of people coming out of this saying they were bored by it, especially given the fact that it doesn't really find its groove right away. It gets better as it goes along, and that's due to the fact that we don't really feel the stakes immediately, and we're not sure what the actual point is for some time. We really don't know what the main source of tension is when these characters first get together. And we get little glimpses that something's not right, but it really doesn't dive into anything too emotionally compelling until a little later on. And that's gonna be a turnoff for some people. With a lot of the conversations focusing around so much exposition, as well as lighthearted chit-chat, with only glimpses of tension, it won't really grab you right away. And I can see some people turning it off before the hour mark. Though there's also another storyline going on where Tyler, Lucas Hedges' character, goes off on his own and runs into Karen, played by Gemma Chan. She's Alice's literary agent who's on the ship as well, though without Alice's knowledge. And we'll cut the scenes of them spending the evening together, getting to know one another, and we learn about things that are bothering them as well as their differing viewpoints of life, which is especially notable given there's a significant age difference between them. He's in his early 20s and she's in her late 30s. And I found this to be the more intriguing story. Karen in particular was a very interesting character as we learn about some of her relationships and how it led her to where she is now. And as opposed to the dynamic among Streep, Wiest, and Bergen, where things are a little tense and we don't know why right away, these two characters are much more open with each other and more vulnerable. And again, it just adds to that authenticity that Soderbergh was looking to hit with that improvised dialogue. I thought that Hedges and Chan did a great job together. But they're also not the entire focus of the movie, and the film tries to evenly distribute its time between that storyline and the main one with Streep, so we may not see them for decent amounts of time. And while the dynamic among Streep, Bergen, and Wiest was great, as I said, it takes a bit for that storyline to become much more compelling. The second hour of this is definitely a lot better than the first, and that's when things really come together, and we have more to be emotionally invested in, and I think this makes up somewhat for that shaky first half. But because this tends to drag a number of times in that first hour, some people may not have the patience to make it to that second half. This is a mixed bag, and I think the positives just outweigh the negatives, but I can see a lot of people saying they won't like this one. While all the performances are great, with Meryl Streep once again being excellent, you also have one storyline that takes a considerable amount of time to really come into its own. The scenes of Lucas Hedges and Gemma Chan end up being the better of the two plot threads, but we're not always focused on them, so it leads to an uneven first half that's made up for in a solid second half. It's a film that if you stick with it, you'll get some emotional satisfaction, but I can also understand if you don't have the patience to write it out, so proceed with caution on this one. Let Them All Talk gets a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Let Them All Talk, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like the story? Did you enjoy the performances? And what's your favorite Meryl Streep movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. And for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you next time.